guys, welcome back to a new episode of the CCA Corner. I'm Mallory Sutton, as always. Happy to report that things in my life are starting to calm down and get a little better. I can actually start focusing on things like formaid arbitration and CCA Corner and stuff. So pleased that my life has started to lull. However, I'm joined, as always, by Badmouth. I'll let him talk about his life.
Hey, hi guys. It's Badmouth. It's chaos and too many irons and too many fires over here. Hasn't settled down yet, but we're working on it. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode of the Mailbag. We got Mr. Tommy. Thomas, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Thomas McDonald. I'm the Vice President of Branch 1642 out of Yuma, Arizona. Happy to be on the podcast.
Yeah, we brought him on today. Thomas messaged us wanting to get together and talk about some of his expertise, and he iterated to us that he's very well versed in benefits. So today we're going to hit you with some benefits, let y'all know what kind of stuff CCAs qualify and maybe even don't qualify for, kind of the ins and outs of what you are entitled to as a CCA in terms of benefits. So before we do that, we kind of want to talk to Thomas a little bit and get to know you and let everybody else know you. So Morris, you want to start us off here?
Yeah. All right, Mr. McDuck, Thomas. I'm so excited that you came here to do this stuff because this is all so over my head. But before we get into the nitty gritty, who are you and what brought you to the post office, bud?
Well, I'm just a regular carrier like everybody else who pretty much listens to this podcast or listens to 8 arbitration. I wouldn't say I'm better. I wouldn't say I'm smarter. I wouldn't say I'm more talented than anybody. I'm just your average everyday guy. What brought me to the post office? Damn. I was 2013. I was homeless, had no job, applied for the post office as a veteran, happened to get slotted into taking the test. They offered me a job. I took it and was off to the races.
Holy shit! So you know the plasma clinic game.
A little bit.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you.
Can you tell us like what your office is like? If you feel like sharing where you're at, if not, you don't have to. What's your office like? What's it like for your CCAs? If you have CCAs, you want to tell us how it is where you are?
Yeah, so if anybody's seen that 310 to Yuma show, that's where we're at. We're in Yuma, Arizona, the southern office that no district wants to touch. We're too far away for assistance, and we're too close to the other states to get treatment or help from the other side. So what's it like in the office? Chaotic. I would say it's chaotic. Got a lot of mail. We delivered, I think, over the Christmas period, 456,000 packages over that 30-day span. The only office that beat us was Rio Salado, which is 270 route office up in Phoenix, Arizona.
How many routes do you guys have?
I think I just didn't count. I think it's like 47, maybe 50 routes.
Phew.
It's big. It's big. We do have a large portion of rural. I would say it's probably split evenly between rural. We probably got 50 and 38, something around there.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, and what it's like for the CCAs in my office. Well, I think it's getting better. It was pretty bad for a while there. COVID really took a big hit on the post office for my area. The turnover rate was unbelievable. I think at one time we had 21 CCAs, and then we went all the way down to like 6. Nobody was really. Yeah, so let me tell you, the overtime was not welcome nor wanted. Um, but let's see. So in 2020, my president approached me and asked me if I would help him out, get things straightened out in the office, and try to alleviate some of the unnecessary mandate and inappropriate overtime. And so I told him, yeah, sure. And then we started dedicating my time to CCAs. They're the future for the post office. Try to see how I can get them to stay longer. See what would work for them and what wouldn't work for them. I convinced my management staff to let us do a meeting every 2 weeks with my CCAs on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, depending on my day off. The CCAs were able, they're able to tell us, like, in a confidential environment, what was bothering them, and that's how I found out. Management calling them 100 times a day, calling them off at 10, working more than 11 and a half. So once we started cracking down on that a little bit and getting that under control, I'd say the CCAs, I wouldn't say they're enjoying life, but I would say they're happier than they could have been.
Yeah, no. That makes that makes perfect sense. Well, good on you, brother. Like that. Yeah, no, that's the yeah. The whole point of us doing this is to equip our CCAs to take care of themselves, and also like encourage regulars, and whether you got a position or not, to be a leader and to take care of the people around you. And that's so fucking cool, dude. So I guess our next question is, why'd you reach out to us? Because I feel like you got a plan.
I don't really have a plan, man. It's day by day, man. It's stemming the fire that management creates. And don't get me wrong, my management staff. I love you, but I hate you at the same time. You guys make it easy for me to get free money, but you make it worse for me when I have to fight for it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
but no, I reached out to you guys. I love what you guys are doing here. I've been saying this in my office for a very long time, man. CCAs are the future. You guys CCAs control the movement here, man. I mean, I was a CCA for 5.5 years, man. Started in 13, made regular in 18. And CCAs don't understand that the power they hold. You start a new job, everyone treats you like poop, man. They don't want you to know everything. They want you to, keep you in the dark, keep you hidden. Don't want to show you what you can do and what you can be. I mean, I have 21 CCAs and I got 15 new regulars. That's 36 votes that, they know me. They know what I'm about. If I talk to them, hey, man, this would be good for the new people. Like, hey, yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll approve that money for the CCA meeting after hours. We'll go ahead and cook them some burgers. We'll go ahead and do whatever. So I hear you guys' podcast. I listen to it, and I'm all for it, man. Whatever I can do to help. I just want to be a part of it, man. Shoot, you guys are like Aladdin on the magic carpet. I'm just trying to hang on, dude. You know what I'm saying?
I can show you the world.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Exactly.
Shining, shimmering, splendid. Yeah.
Oh, my favorite one is riff raff, street raff. I
There you
don't buy that.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
all
that's
right,
enough
all right.
being weird.
Back to work. Back to work.
We lost the plot there for a second. Anyway, all right. So
That's okay.
natural segue. This was supposed to be a natural segue into what we were talking about, but it wasn't. So let's segue. So we wanted to get on here and talk about CCA benefits, obviously. Obviously, the big draw for a lot of people coming into the post office is that, it's a federal job. You get federal benefits, and then you get the CCA job and you realize, well, fuck, do I really? One day. But it takes a while. So we kind of wanted to break that down of like what you get when and how and what you got to do and what it entails. So if you want to learn more, and we're going to include a link to this in our episode sites, anything we talk about, we're going to cite it on the Formata Arbitration website on the CCA Corner part. So anything we talk about, you can find it there. But on page 35 and 37 of the CCA resource guide, it talks about benefits. And there's going to be some stuff that we cover that's not in that section. So we'll make sure to cite that too. The first thing that people typically look for in a job is health insurance. Because, once you hit 26, you can't ride on your mom and daddy's coattails no more. Can you kind of talk to us about CCA health insurance and how you qualify for it? What all that is?
Hold on,
All right.
can I interject real quick?
Of
Where
course.
do, where would a CCA like me find this CCA information guide? Do I got to request it from the NALC website? Was someone supposed to give it to me? Where would I find this guide?
It's actually on the NALC website.
Okay, all right, all right.
I think it's on the members only portal too.
It's you
Okay.
can Google it. You could Google it. But Morris, we both know that you're not a CCA anymore, brother. You're a PTF. So congratulations on getting PTF.
Yay! We don't.
Yeah,
We don't.
I'm not buying the donuts until the ink dries on that fucking piece of paper.
Yeah. So we're now the CCA corner without a CCA hosting it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's okay. We're
Right,
kind
you
of
got in
frauds in
early.
that sense, but I mean, between our 6 years experience as CCAs, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah.
So
And PTF is just CCA plus anyway. So
honestly, all right. So health insurance, Tommy, you want to talk about
All right.
health insurance for a little bit?
Sure, yeah. Also, there you said the CCA guide. There's also a letter carrier resource guide that is available on the NALC website. That's what I use for all my stuff. They just updated it as soon as 2023, so like 2 years ago. I'm sure we'll have a new one. Starts on page 18, talks CCA rights and benefits. Yeah, so if anybody needs to see that. Okay, so health benefits. So a lot of things have changed since I did my first class in 2020. So it's been
Yeah. Hey,
updated.
real
So
quick, tell us about you do classes for your CCAs, right?
yes, that's true. So once I get a new batch of CCAs, I call it batches because they always come in fives. So we got actually 10 starting now. So we got a new batch of CCAs coming in. I'm waiting for about a month in when they start getting the hang of the job so they don't get overwhelmed. And then I make a motion at my union meeting to pay for food, and myself and the president, and basically anybody else who wants to go, stewards, anybody who wants to get involved and motivate or educate, I guess, CCAs on their benefits. We get together and we cover some basic stuffs like how to make sure you're clocking out, how to, just to let them know that we're there, because when I first started, I had a friend who worked for the post office. So I had someone to talk to, someone to go to if I was having an issue. And I see that now they're doing the NERP program and all this. Before that was even started, we were doing that, I have my union president, Fabian Greenidge, got to give him a big shout out. He helped me when I transferred to Yuma from my first station. So, and he helped me learn the city and figure it out. And that was a big help to me. So we want to, make sure that CCAs, when they come in, that, yeah, we're the union. Yeah, we file grievances. Yeah, we hold this position and we're big and scary and all this stuff. But at the same time, like, we're here to help you, Don't be afraid to come and contact us. Don't be afraid to reach out, because at the end of the day, I was a CCA. My president was a PTF, or actually, I think he was even a TE. But, we've been there. We've done it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know what the struggles are. Currently, the struggles are different because Amazon. But, I mean, we're there for you, So don't be afraid to reach out. That's why we do the meeting.
hell yes. Yeah, no, that's and that's brilliant. That's something that I try and tell every CCA who comes into my station, even if they're just visiting for a hot second. It's like, hey, this is your branch. This is your branch's number. This is your steward. Annoy them. That's your entire their entire job is to help you. So thank you. You're brilliant. Like yeah.
I'm just your average guy, dude, who saw a hole and decided to fill the need. You know what I'm saying? And make it something to where we could enjoy it. To where the turnover rate isn't 95% like it was in my station. I think we're down to like
Yeah.
7, so that's a way better. But anyways, back to the health benefits thing. So CCAs do qualify for federal employee health benefits, but only after an initial appointment for a 360-day term and upon reappointment to another 360-day term. Any eligible non-career CCA employee who wants to pay health premiums to participate in the federal employee health benefits program on a pre-tax basis will be required to make an election to do so. So basically, after your first year, you can sign up to be part of the Federal Employees Health Benefit Program. Okay. The total cost of the health insurance is the responsibility of the non-career CCA employee, except as provided below. And this is out of the this is out of the Letter Carrier Guide of 2023. So if anybody is listening to this and wants to follow along, you're more than welcome to.
So hold on, just to interject, because this is not my wheelhouse. So this is just as instructive for me as anyone else. So in order to get your benefits, you got to have a 360-day term. So you got to be in your second year to get these benefits. Am I
Right.
hearing that right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's for
So
the
you got a raw dog. You got a raw dog life for your first year. In your second year, you get these benefits.
Yes.
that
Okay.
is for
All
the
right.
federal employee health benefits.
Okay.
But there's a different health plan that the NALC has been fighting for. So before, you didn't get coverage your first year. So CCAs, we used to be able to call the MBA and sign up for the NALC healthcare plan with the NALC. The NALC now has negotiated with the USPS to create a USPS non-career health benefit plan. Beginning with plan year 2022, all CCAs, regardless of coverage level, receive from the Postal Service a contribution equal to 75% of the total biweekly premium for enrollment in the USPS non-career healthcare plan. You have the additional option once you have completed a 360-day term and have been appointed to another 360-day term of selecting any one of the federal employee health benefits programs. If you choose FEP, the Postal Service does not make any contributions to premium. So, with that being said, regardless of what year you are as a CCA, you can sign up for the USPS non-career healthcare plan. And the Postal Service will contribute up to 75% of your premium, which is a huge
Holy
win
shit.
for CCAs. Yeah, huge,
Okay.
because
Okay. So just as someone that has, this is again out of my wheelhouse, but I qualify for this health insurance in my second year. But you're saying I can call my MBA's office for my region and ask to be enrolled in this, like almost right away, and the post
right.
office will contribute to that premium, so I'm not even paying the whole jam in my
So
first year.
it used to be the MBA's office. So
Okay.
starting in 2022, so 3 years ago after COVID, MBA still, I think they still have a plan. I haven't seen it. So, but USPS created a non-career health benefit plan strictly for the non-career employees. That includes PSEs, that includes RCAs, that includes CCAs.
Okay.
So, but if you are in your initial year as a CCA, you may elect coverage in the USPS non-career healthcare plan at either the self-only, self+1, or family coverage levels. So, like I said, prior to year 2022, if you elected the self-only coverage, you would have received a biweekly contribution towards the total premium, which the post office would pay up to $125 or whatever's greater. But now it's just a flat 75% across the board, whether it's self-only, self+1, or family.
So who do I talk to about signing up for that?
So I believe you would call, this is all new to me in terms of 2022, because it used to be the MBA, but now you have to go through HR shared services. So if you call them, you're
Okay,
going to
so
be on
through
hold
Light
for a while.
Blue and calling HR. So just take a day off and call the HR number.
or you leave your phone on speaker.
Shipping right from your home or office is as easy as click, print, ship.
God,
Just
I
go to
love hearing
USPS.
advertisements.
I've called
Uh,
HR so much that I have that bitch's whole fucking thing
Oh God.
memorized.
I'm assuming that's
I
getting
will
cut.
say I don't know anything about the NALC's version. I did have the CCA health insurance when I was still a CCA. I had Care First, which is CCA
Yeah,
health
that's
insurance.
what I have.
I can tell you guys, Care First is not great. However, it's better than not having health insurance at all. I think it was
Yep.
$30 copay for primary care and $60 copay for specialists. So, God forbid you need to see a dermatologist, endocrinologist, gastroenterologist, ologist, because you're going to pay $60 a fucking visit. But other than that, it wasn't really awful. Like, they cover shit. Like, they cover some. So, it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing.
And it wasn't hella incredibly expensive because like he said, they cover 75%. So, if you get to your second year of being a CCA, you should sign up for it if you don't have health insurance because God forbid something happen and you need health insurance and you don't have it. And then after your second term, as long as you don't transfer like I did and fuck it all up, then you can become a PTF and pick whatever health insurance you want. And it's great. So, is there anything else we need to talk about with health insurance? Or have we pretty much summed that up?
Pretty much summed it up. I mean, I can't give you guys recommendations on what type of coverage you need. I can't guarantee you the prices. You're going to have to compare prices. I believe they do have it on the Federal Employee Health Benefit website, or I'm trying to see. They don't have the website in the new book.
Is it the opm.gov thing? Like, can CCAs pick now, or is it still just Care First?
I believe, CCAs can pick the USPS non-career health benefit plan. I don't think it's Care First. I think it is Care First, then it is Care First.
Yeah, it is Care First.
Yeah.
All right.
I still got my Care First card.
I still do too.
Yeah, it's Care First. So I don't currently have healthcare with the Postal Service. I have VA healthcare. So
it's a Blue Cross Blue Shield subsidiary. So they're under the Blue Cross Blue Shield purveyor of health insurance. So anywhere that covers Blue Cross will more than likely cover you. All right.
So my question, Mr. Thomas, what about dental and vision? My my mouth bones and my peepers. These are generally in the United States considered luxury items. Duh. Do CCAs qualify for these luxury items, such as seeing where you're going or being able to eat solid food?
To answer your question, Morris, CCAs are eligible to enroll in the FEDVIP when they have completed an initial appointment for a 360-day term and are eligible to enroll in the Federal Employee Health Benefits Program. You do not need to be enrolled in Federal Employees Health Benefit Program to be eligible for the FEDVIP. However, you must meet the eligibility requirements to enroll in the Federal Employee Health Care or Federal Employee Health Benefits Program.
I can kind of tell you a little bit more about that. You go to FEDVIP. I think you have to log in with login.gov. I'm not sure. I feel like that's right. But you get on there during open season and you just enroll in additional dental and vision. And there's a regular plan and a high plan for both. I can tell you, I hopped it into the high plan. And I pay High Plan Family. And you can find the premiums and stuff on their website. I'll make sure that gets linked as well. For Federal Family Dental, it's $56 a paycheck. And for Federal Family Vision, it's $16.97. And those are both the high plans. So that's not bad at all. Yeah.
$32 to make sure you got good peepers.
Yeah, and good teethers. Like I've got a couple fillings done and I don't owe that much at all. Like it's solid. My ex-husband got like 6 teeth removed. We paid like $600 for it. That would be like $4,000 without insurance, if not more. So yeah, FEDVIP is pretty dope. Like I think they cover like 70% of most stuff. And like for vision, it's at least on the high plan, you get your first appointment every year for free. You get a free set of x-rays for dental every year. You get 2 or 3 free cleanings. For vision, they cover up to like $150 or $200 on glasses or contacts. You can't choose both. And then like there's other stuff, like if you have like degenerative eye disease or whatever, like you'd have to read the benefits book. But I will link to it so you guys can look at it and such. But you do qualify for that after your first year as a CCA, which is great.
I mean, just the
And
teeth cleanings alone is pretty, because I like teeth cleaning. That's just
Yeah.
expensive paying out of pocket. And
Yeah,
every
it is.
time I go in for one, they're like, when was the last time you were in? I was like, last time I had insurance, bro. And they're like, well, you need to be coming in twice a year. And I'm always like, well, y'all should make it less cost prohibitive because I'm not avoiding this for the fun of it. Like, I want this.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But getting
Trust me, I
off,
get
getting
it.
off that. Yeah.
I've had my gastro issues all my life. Like my teeth are absolutely fucked. And my dentist has like a plan for me. Like we have to address each little bit as we go. He's like, "You're gonna get used to me." I'm like, "Yeah, I know it." So all right. So
real
Tommy.
quick. So you can also view premiums and benefit coverage and compare up to 3 plans side by side at www.benefeds.com.
Full benefits.
Hell yes.
So let's move on from that, shall we? Do
What the fuck
CCAs
is a flexible spending account?
Yeah, do CCAs qualify for flexible spending accounts?
What even is a flexible spending account? I have no idea what that means.
A flexible spending account is at the beginning of the year, the FSA will give you however much money you want to put on your enrollment. So, me personally, I put $700 in my enrollment. Whenever I enroll for that, they break it down by a biweekly premium. So, on my checks right now for my flexible spending account, I pay $26.93 every paycheck to have that $700 fronted to me at the beginning of the year to spend on eligible health expenses. And that's all kinds of shit. It can be your copays, it can be treatments and stuff like that. It can be for like women, it can be tampons and pads and menstrual products. It can be Tylenol and over-the-counter products. It can be all kinds of shit. There's a huge list of stuff that you can spend your FSA on. All you have to do is, which they just switched to a different provider this year. Now it's Inspira Financial. Last year it was somebody else. I can't even remember now. But before, all you could do was submit claims and say, hey, I paid this, or hey, here's this bill. I need you to send them a check. And then they would pay it. Now there's a credit card. You get an FSA credit card. You can say, okay, well, I'm just going to use my FSA card on this, pay for something. And then later on, you upload the receipt saying, here's what I spent it on. And then they cover it. If they bounce it back, then, okay, well, if you don't provide proof that it's medically a medical expense, then they could bounce it back and say, hey, you owe us for this. But that's basically it. You just get money fronted to spend on your healthcare expenses. And it's fucking awesome. It has saved my ass whenever I have been broke as shit and can't afford copays to a doctor. It's great. I highly recommend getting into the flexible spending account. And you can determine at the open enrollment season or during your eligibility period, like, okay, well, here's my paychecks, here's my expenses. I can afford to drop an extra $10 every paycheck towards this. And then, well, that's how much a year. And it'll calculate it for you when you type it in. Say, like, I want to try $500, and then it's going to break it down. Okay, here's you're going to pay blah, 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 blah every check. And you can say, okay, that's reasonable. Yeah, I can do that. And then it'll just give you that money. And then it's yours. And it's non-taxable too. So you don't pay taxes on it. It's great. However, signing up for that, I believe you do that.
Yeah,
I'd have to look up the information on it.
I got you right here. So yes, CCAs do qualify, but only after their initial year.
Just like everything else.
So once you're eligible to roll into federal employee health benefits plan, then you're eligible to enroll in a FSA. The website to enroll is fsafeds.com. There's a couple different FSAs. You got healthcare FSA and you have dependent care FSA. I believe there is one more. I don't currently use FSA, but I don't know. But like Mallory said, a flexible spending account is a tax-favored program offered by employers that allow their employees to pay for eligible out-of-pocket health care and dependent care expenses with pre-tax dollars. By using pre-tax dollars to pay for eligible health care and dependent care expenses, an FSA gives you an immediate discount on these expenses that equal the taxes you would have otherwise paid on that money.
All right. So again, for the newbie in the room. So what this is it's an allotment that you set. Say it's $700. You set this, and that's taken out of your check a little bit at a time, so it
Yes.
accrues. And then that way, if you're stuck with a $50 copay at urgent care because you were something happened and you slipped or whatever, you don't have the cash on hand to pay for that. That will pay for it. That will cover it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's actually really cool. I had no idea what that meant. Flexible spending thing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you can use it for like medical expenses, like co-pays, your co-insurance and deductibles for dental. You can do like exams, cleaning, x-rays, and braces, vision, exam, contact lenses and supplies, eyeglasses, laser eye surgery, physical therapy, chiropractor, acupuncture. You can even use it for prescription drugs or over-the-counter medicines. Fun fact, I just found out that you can use the card at Walgreens and CVS and swipe it, and it will take all of your FSA items out on the card, and then you just pay the difference. So if you want to buy Band-Aids or Neosporin or cough syrup, Dayquil, cough drops, it'll come out automatic. So that's the cool thing with the card.
Yeah, dude, I highly recommend it if you can afford an extra like $5-10. And I mean, it's progressive. So when you go to sign up for it, you type in that you want to allot, $200, and it's going to break it down for you and say how much that's going to take out of every check. And then you can bump it up. You can say, okay, well, what's $300? And then you get it to the point where you think that it's reasonable, and then there you go. You sign up for whatever you think is reasonable, and then at the first of the year, it's there. It's in your account. It's ready to go. You can use it. You just have to make sure that you use it. It doesn't roll over. So you get a new one every year. And as like for the last one, I know I fucked up with the last account that we had because the last day to submit claims on that account from last year was April 1st. And I didn't. And I had money sitting in that account that I didn't do anything with, and it just disappeared. I fucked up. So you have to make sure that you use your whole allotment, even if you just go buy goddamn Band-Aids.
I don't want to interrupt, but you can carry over up to $550 in your account from one plan year to the next.
But not in this situation where it switched to a different provider.
That you are correct.
Yeah. Because it switched from whoever to Inspira, and there was no way to carry it over. So I got fucked. True. Yeah.
Well, there is another FSA, dependent care FSA. It's basically a pre-tax benefit account used to pay for eligible dependent care services such as preschool, summer day camps, before or after school programs, and child or adult daycare. It's a smart, simple way to save money while taking care of your loved ones so that you can continue to work.
Fuck yeah. That's super important because we got so many CCAs coming in now who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s. They're taking care of parents, they're taking care of their autistic kids, or I don't know how single parents do this shit. That's brilliant. That's an awesome resource for people doing that.
All right. So what about life insurance? If I die tomorrow and I'm a CCA and I never signed up for life insurance, obviously I'm fucked, but like CCAs have life insurance options, right? Yes, no, maybe?
So currently, non-career federal employees, including CCAs, are not eligible for life insurance through USPS and the Federal Employee Group Life Insurance Program. However, NALC offers its members a variety of life insurance options at an affordable rate through the U.S. Letter Carrier Mutual Benefit Association, the MBA is a life insurance company created with the sole purpose of serving letter carriers. So you're going to find a little trend in this thing is the MBA. So the Mutual Benefit Association was created by the city letter carrier to benefit people who didn't qualify for certain programs. So if you don't qualify for life insurance, you can call the MBA and get connected with them and sign up for life insurance. There's different policies. I can't give you the information because we'd be here all day.
My advice is my niece, the youngest nephew niece, she's the beneficiary. So that way, if someone comes after me, it's going to be her, and she's the smallest one.
That's certainly a plan.
Yeah.
One of the plans of all time.
Life insurance is so fucking scary, man. Like I don't know how people talk about this stuff. I don't know how it works. But I know the person that I talked to at the MBA was incredibly helpful, and yeah. Because if I kick the bucket tomorrow, I don't want that to be someone else's problem. I'd rather people just be sad without problems.
The MVA offers a variety of life insurance products, including whole, term, and universal life. I never used the MBA's life insurance. I kept my life insurance from my military service, so I had no need for it. But you can contact them at 202-638-4318, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah.
Or at www.nalc.org/MBA. You can only use the MBA if you are an active NALC member. So I highly encourage, if you listen to this podcast or listen to any other podcast and you're not an NALC member, to join. That way you can maximize the benefits that you have available to you.
Yeah, don't be a scab, please.
Do you guys want to cover death benefits real quick?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and talk about death benefits during life insurance.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right. Also, NALC offers group accidental death benefits. So NALC provides an accidental death benefit for all NALC members. All active, retired, and city carrier assistants who are members of the NALC in good standing are eligible for the benefit. The basic benefit coverage is $5,000, and there is no cost to the members. The plan is administered by the MBA. So tell your loved ones, if something was to happen to you, you are automatically covered for $5,000 from the NBA just for being an NALC member in good standing. So it could go to covering your bills, or it could go to covering your funeral cost, or $5,000 may even cover 1 or 2 months house payment, so your family can figure out what to do now that you're gone. So that's an awesome benefit that the NALC offers, but unfortunately, you don't get it if you're not an NALC member.
Yeah, that would cover like a whole goddamn funeral. Wow. At least where I'm from. I don't know how much funerals normally cost, but that's about how much the last one that I had to do cost. So, damn. Good to know. I did not know that. Today I learned.
Yeah, no, that's again, leaving. We want to leave. We want to leave things better than when we found them, and yeah, no, that's all right. So one of the things as a CCA, like retirement, we're not career, so we don't get retirement benefits, is what I've understood it. But it sounds like maybe we can.
So you are correct. Currently, CCAs are not eligible to participate in the federal employee retirement system until converted to career status. Career status is the PTF. So after 2 years. So basically, your 2 years don't count towards your federal retirement as of now. I know they have a bunch of legislative things going on in Congress where they're trying to make a bill to where we can purchase that time back as a temporary employee, just kind of like the military service. I don't know if it's gained any traction. It hasn't moved since 2018, so I doubt it. However, NALC does offer CCAs an opportunity to begin saving for retirement. So, as a career employee, you're automatically enrolled in FERS, and you're automatically enrolled in a thing called a TSP, which is a thrift savings plan. When I first started, they only enrolled you automatically for 1%. So as soon as you got converted, you had to go rush on their computer and make sure you get the 5%, because that's the max the post office will match is 5%. So when you could make career, you automatically get those two benefits. As a CCA, you don't get either one of those. But because of this, the NALC and the Mutual Benefit Association created something called the CCA Retirement Savings Plan. The savings plan is basically a retirement income plan designed for the city carrier assistant to supplement your pension. You make small payments to the plan while you're young so you can receive a lifetime of monthly payments after you retire. You may also request a guaranteed number of monthly payments. So basically, you can put money into this while you're a CCA, so you can start saving. And if you choose to, once you make career, you can either choose to keep this plan or you can roll it into your TSP as a lump payment. So imagine starting a career with a TSP of an extra $5,000. So you roll it in your TSP, you got $5,000. You're able to just, bam, start at 5 instead of starting at 0 and then making those small contributions to catch up.
So the idea here is you join the CCA plan, the savings plan, and whatever, and you can just roll it right into your TPS when you convert, and then when you convert, immediately tell them, I want 5% because that might be a bigger bite out of your paycheck, but the Postal Service is going to match that.
Yes.
Like,
So-
as far as a plan for, because we all get this job because the benefits and the retirement are supposed to be good. This is the way that we make that work, right?
City carrier assistants who participate in the plan may transfer their traditional IRA funds to the thrift savings plan once they become a career letter carrier. You used to have to pay a surrender charge, so you'd have to pay a percentage, but that charge is going to be waived in this instance only. So as soon as you transfer money from your traditional IRA CCA savings plan to the thrift savings plan, the NALC MBA is going to waive the fee so that way you can start your TSP with a nest egg. The Postal Service currently already starts newly career employees at 5% on your TSP. I would double check on postalese just to make sure, but that is what they're supposed to do. Automatically enroll you in 5%. So 5% of your base pay automatically goes into your TSP. If you were to take the money that you had as a CCA plan and put that into your TSP, you would already start off with a nice little nest egg. Let's say it's $2,000. That $2,000 gets invested how you choose with your TSP, and then if it's starting to grow, you make money. And then you just start trickling money in instead of starting with, like, for me, it's $150 a check, goes into my TSP. It would take me X amount of months to catch up to the $2,000 when newly converted CCAs can already start with that lump sum. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. So you're getting a head start before you hit PTF. That's awesome.
Additionally, you don't have to go with the NALC version of that. I had a previous employer. I used to work at a factory, fun fact, before I worked for the post office, and I had a retirement plan with them. And they let me just kind of pause it until I made career, and then I just rolled that into my TSP. It doesn't have to be just the NALC one. You can roll any kind of 401k, damn near, into your TSP. All you have to do is call TSP and say, hey, I have this 401k. How do I roll it in? And then they'll say, okay, who's it with? And they'll do a three-way call. And I know this because I did it. They'll do a three-way call and they say, hey, we need permission to do this. And they say, do we have permission? Yes. And then they send you the check. You send the check to TSP. It gets deposited in your account. And that's why I have like 2.5 in my TSP as a PTF who's only been a PTF for like 6 months. Because I already had an account. So if you have a previous employer with a 401k, or if you want to open one, like you can do like the one here is Edward Jones. You know, if you wanted to get a head start, you can do the NALC one, which is, you know, it's easier probably with the NALC one, but you can also do an outside 401k and just roll it in. That's also an option.
There are some requirements for you to start the NALC CCA retirement savings plan. You have to start with a minimum payment of $15. but you never have to make any additional deposits in order to maintain your policy in force. You can also make a lump sum deposit into your retirement plan at any time to help build your plan's value. Okay? Some of the benefits of the plan is NALC stands behind every policy written by the NBA, which was created more than a century ago to give letter carrier families reliable savings and insurance plan. The NBA operates with low overhead, no fees, and no salespeople on commission, so the savings are passed on to you. If, for whatever reason, you are not satisfied, return it for a full refund of any premiums you have paid. There is no risk. So they will refund your money automatically. If you're not satisfied, you just have to let them know, and they will go ahead and refund you the check if you're not satisfied. And that's the NBA number. It's 202-638-4318, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right. So we don't want to touch on OWCP too awful much because we do plan to do a full OWCP episode in the future. But OWCP is a benefit that CCAs are entitled to, so we wanted to give Thomas a second to kind of just touch on it. So do you kind of want to tell us about OWCP and workers' compensation and how all that works? Just like an explain like I'm five, just like a bullet point. Give us the highlights.
I just hurt my knee.
CCAs are covered by the Federal Employee Compensation Act. It provides wages, loss, medical, and other benefits to Postal Service employees, including CCAs, who sustain personal injury or employment-related illnesses while in the performance of duty. They also pay benefits to dependents if the injury or illness causes the employee's death. Employees who are injured on the job should report the matter promptly to their supervisor and complete and submit the appropriate OWC claim form. They can obtain these forms from the Postal Service or the NALC website or your supervisor. If an injury is caused by a work factor or event occurred during a single workday or shift, it is considered to be a traumatic injury and the employee should file a CA1 form. If the injury is caused by work factors that extended over a period of more than one workday, it is considered an occupational disease or illness and the employee should file a CA2 form. So, basically, really simple. If it happens during one shift, you need a CA1 form. That's basically so you can go to the doctor, you can get the Postal Service will cover for it. You can file your claim with OWC. If it happens over multiple shifts, so let's say you hurt your back and then it's still bothering you for multiple shifts, you need a CA2 form. It's the easiest way to remember it, but I know you guys are going to have somebody else on to talk more in depth of OWCP, so I don't want to go too far.
Yeah, I will say, CA1s are, you get bit by a dog, you fall down a set of stairs, you slip on ice, you pick up a package and a fucking knife comes out of it and stabs you. Because that almost happened to me last week, just saying. But a CA2 is, over time, you start to notice that your shoulder is hurting you, or your knees are hurting you, or something has developed over time. That's the difference between a CA1 and a CA2. CA2s are a lot harder to get accepted. We will talk about this a whole lot later. I'll probably tell my whole story about my CA2 at some point. But we wanted to touch on it. If you ever have questions about workers' compensation, if you get hurt or if you think that you may have been hurt because of work, your best bet is to talk to your steward or your branch president. Most, if not all, I don't know if all, but at least my NBA's office has a OWCP specialist at the NBA's office who can help with your claim and all that. So there are people out there who can help guide you. And again, we will do an episode on this later, but we wanted to kind of touch on it as it's a benefit, but we'll get real in depth with it one day soon. 2 weeks TM.
Yeah. So I think the next thing we want to go into was our uniform allowance. So I know with our brand new, really good historic contract, we got a really big uniform allowance now. I wanted to kind of go over some of that and what I tell my CCAs who come in. So the thing is, it's limited. you only got X amount of dollars that you can spend as a CCA. You normally get a bonus on top of the dollar amount. This is what I did and what I try to tell all of the CCAs who come in after me. Get a hold of your branch. Immediately call your branch. They probably have uniforms, shirts, and pants and shorts there. Go there before you spend your uniform allowance. If after you hit your 90 days, they don't give you your uniform allowance letter to get it, grieve it immediately. It took me 3 grievances to get my first letter. Okay. Went to my branch. I found shirts. I found shorts. I found pants. That covered me pretty well. The thing is, then you got to find a vendor after that. I know Corey's been, Mr. Walton's been talking about a vendor that I'm sure Mallory can host in the thing.
Yeah, if you get on the Formator arbitration website and you scroll through the little header bar, that's like if you just leave it alone, it'll start to swipe through. Eventually, you'll get to the Brookfield uniform offer where there's a guy who's offering like a discount and like a free shirt or something. I thank you so much to that guy for that offer. That's great. I have found better prices elsewhere. Just saying.
So
Brookfield is
you
really expensive.
you want to find a vendor, but before you go to the vendor, you want to get as much as you can, which is why you want to go to your branch, because you'll get shirts, you'll get shorts, you'll get pants at your branch. Then I
Uniformbonus.com.
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 Okay, all right. Uniformbonus.com is one of the vendors, right? But we're gonna try and get as much of this shit as we can before we go to a vendor. So you're gonna contact your branch. You're gonna go down there. You're gonna get shirts, shorts, pants. Me personally, I buy my boots myself because I have been working in the industrial sector my whole life. I will always buy my boots from Red Wing because I can spend $300 on a pair of boots, and that sounds expensive, but those boots will last me for 4 to 5 years. And I can get a pair of those with a safety toe in black leather, and if I get pulled over by a safety inspector who says those aren't green tag boots, I can say, well, I'm going above and beyond because these are Red Wings. These are the Nike of safety boots. I've gone above and beyond with these boots. That way, you're not wasting $400 of your uniform allowance on a pair of boots that are going to fall apart within a year. So you get everything you can before you go to that vendor, and then you use that allowance to fill the gaps.
Let me interject. In addition to the Morris method, what you can also do is go to your primary care physician once you have your federal employee health benefits.
Hell yes.
And say, hey, my work requires me to have these specific postal shoes. They hurt me. I'm having issues with my feet. Can you give me a doctor's note that says that I'm allowed to wear different shoes, please? And once you have a medical restriction that says that you can wear different shoes so long as they fit the Postal Service's guidelines, then you are protected against the green tag shoe policy, as long as they are leather and cover your whole foot. So, ergo, you are protected to do Morris's shoe policy and save $200+ on your uniform allotment.
There you go. So now that we have exhausted all the different things to get you your gear for your day to day, now we can spend our allowance on our weather gear. I'm down here in Texas. It's not too terrible cold, but I need rain gear. I need rain gear, and I need like So that's all I'm spending that on. But if you're somewhere like in Minnesota, you want, you want your snow boots, your outfits for your cold weather gear. So exhaust all of those options getting your uniform together before you spend a dime at one of these vendors, if that makes sense. That's my strategy. That's what how I tell the CCAs who are coming in after me, and it generally works pretty okay, just to maximize to get more bang for your buck with that uniform allowance.
So, Thomas, please tell us what you think about the uniform program. Now that we've pretty much taken your spotlight here.
It's all right. I'm not greedy. I'll share it. Like I said, I'm
Sorry,
just like
sorry,
y'all. Letter carriers are the public face of one of the country's largest employers, representing more than 600,000 employees of the USPS. That's what it means to put on a light blue uniform with the USPS logo. Uniforms serve several purposes. They provide immediate visual identification to the public, which makes the job safer when going down streets and up to houses all over America. Maybe like 20 years ago, but currently that makes us a target because they love coming after us for that mail.
That arrow key.
Arrow key, exactly. We actually had a carrier get his truck stolen. He dropped his key. He was servicing a mailbox, turned around, and LOV was gone. He had no idea. They found it in like some rural field and hidden.
What?
Yeah. Crazy.
That's fucking wild.
If you want to cut that, y'all can cut it.
No.
we had that in Glencrest too, dude. Some teens went on a joyride.
The postal inspectors came down. They had to rent a helicopter, and they found it with a helicopter in like some rural field, like underneath a tree or something. It was crazy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so uniform allowance. So CCAs, they are eligible to receive a uniform allowance after completing 90 working days, or you have been employed for 120 calendar days. They make you go to orientation, and then they make you do driver's training, and then classroom, and then OJI, and then you have to do the 4 weeks where you get only 8 hours a day with 2 guaranteed days off, NERT program. So I believe the 120 days is first. So I highly recommend after you reach 120 days, you should be provided with a uniform voucher. More than likely, management will forget or fail to provide you a voucher. If in that case, grab your old handy-dandy shop steward and have them accompany you to your manager or supervisor and ask them to promptly provide you with your uniform voucher. Going into the purchasing uniforms for CCAs. So the CCA uniform program details include how the uniform allowance is provided, how uniforms are purchased, and how the uniform vendor is reimbursed. They're explained in that letter carrier book, page 68 and 69. Basically what happens is uniforms purchased for CCAs are reimbursed through eBuy, so they actually need to be verified first. So most vendors do this. CCAs place their order on the checkout line. It says, "Are you a CCA? Please click this box." You click it. They process your order. Then you have to bring that order number in to your head clerk that does your eBuys. And then they get confirmation from the postmaster, and then they buy your uniforms, and then your uniforms are shipped, and you have to give them your voucher. That's a lot of information to remember for a CCA, so it's very simple. Once you get your voucher, order your uniforms, approach your shop steward, say, "Hey, I ordered my uniforms. Here's my number. Here's my invoice. I need to speak with blah, blah, blah," and the shop steward will pretty much take it from there, or they should assist you in making sure you get your uniform allowance ordered. I believe CCAs are getting $4.99. I'm not sure. I know the amounts just changed.
See, that's so much fucking easier. Holy shit, I never knew that. You know what we had to do whenever I was a CCA? We had to take a uniform book and figure out which one we wanted to use and then go through. They'd tell us how much we got, and I'd write it on the top of a piece of paper, and I'd find a uniform item, write down the item number and what size I wanted, and then subtract that from my total. and then take that list of everything that I wrote down and manually calculated and take it into my postmaster and say, here's what I want. That's how we used to do it. I had no fucking idea that you could just do it.
Not currently, when a CCA becomes eligible for uniform allowance, they got to approve the funds through e-by submission by local management, and then they get an approval letter. But that approval letter usually is only good for like 14 days. So once you get that, don't sit on it. Like, make the purchase. Otherwise, you'll miss out on your opportunity to order your uniforms.
Yeah, you got to do that shit pretty much immediately.
And just to touch on what Morris said, like those new CCAs, man, talk to the shop stewards about which carriers have been there the longest. So I've been a regular carrier. This will be my do math. I will finally be part of that no layoff clause in June of this year. So it's very, very real for me. I could still be laid off, but I pretty much have everything I need for my uniforms. I may purchase a shirt and a pair of pants just to have an extra. So if any CCA or whatever at my station was to tell me, hey man, I don't have enough money for a jacket, I'd be like, what's your size? I'll go ahead and buy it for you. You know, I know a lot of my senior carriers on my station, they ask the union, hey man, what do you guys need? And I'll be like, hey man, can you just order like a 36, a 38, a 40, and a 42 size pair of pants? And they'll order it and we'll have it in there. And then as the CCA comes in, you know, we'll at least have them have one full working uniform so they don't have to dirty their own clothes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And like, because I know it's not just CCAs who listen to this. If you are a regular, and you got that uniform allowance, and you don't just not use it. Like, even if you got all your shit, because all you're doing is you're giving whatever bank is attached to that free money, spend it to get you uniforms for your CCAs. And if you are before your 90 days, before you get that letter, CCAs take a good amount of pride in what we do. We want to do this job well. And the uniform is part of that pride. And also, if you're stuck in the goddamn holidays and it's 8 p.m. and you're in a rough end of town and you're having to slink through yards delivering mail after dark without a uniform because you're 2-3 weeks in, get a hold of your branch. Get a hold of the other carriers in there because they can get you some sweat through nasty second, third, fourth, fifth hand uniforms before you get that letter. Because we take pride in what we do, and we want to look like letter carriers because we are letter carriers. And yeah.
So let's take a break real quick, and we're gonna hear a quick word from our sponsors.
Today's episode is brought to you by the letters U, B, B, and M. There are only 4 classes of mail that can go into the Yuma, standard, nonprofit, marketing, and bound printed matter, and only if they don't have an ancillary service endorsement. Let's make sure our mailers get the services they pay for. Back to you.
That was a word from our sponsors. Great. I love our sponsors. Don't you love our sponsors?
I love our sponsors so much.
Great. They're great. I love them. All right. So let's talk about leave. And we're probably kind of getting on in this episode, so let's try to be succinct about this. I don't want to, turn people off to an hour and a half long episode or whatever. CCAs get annual leave. Do CCAs get sick leave?
So currently, CCAs earn annual leave. They do not get sick leave. I believe with this new contract that they push, that CCAs will be fronted leave. I'm not entirely sure. I still have to read over a whole bunch of stuff. I got like 1,000 things going on. I got a state convention in 19 days, and I have a LMOU committee next week. So I'm been pretty busy to catch up on the contract. But yes, CCAs earn annual leave. I believe it is 1 hour for every 20, unless something's changed.
And I believe it maxes out at 40 hours. Rather than it being with the new contract, rather than it being accrued like that, it's front loaded. So at the beginning of your term, you're supposed to have 40 hours. And the whole idea is that covers your 5-day break in service.
Pretty much.
Yes, pretty much. So there's a few different types of leave. If you're a veteran, you may be eligible for wounded warrior leave. You have to have a disability rating of 30% or more. I believe you guys are going to cover a military veteran episode later, so we can cover that at a different time. There's also annual leave, sick leave, there's leave without pay, and bereavement leave, I believe. Let me see. Yes, there's bereavement leave. So you get annual leave, sick leave, leave without pay, bereavement leave, and wounded warrior leave. Wounded warrior leave is for the veterans who have a disability rating of 30% or more and need to undergo medical treatment for a service-connected condition, whether it's a doctor's appointment or such, but we'll cover that at a different time. Annual leave is basically any leave, is leave that you can take for any reason whatsoever. You don't have to have excuse. You just got to turn in a Form 3971 and have it approved in advance by your appropriate supervisor. That way you can have any day off you want. Sick leave obviously is for when you're sick, but unfortunately CCAs do not earn sick leave, so sick leave is not covered. Bereavement leave is for leave that you have if you have a death in the family. So a family member is currently defined as a son or daughter. It could be a biological or adopted child, a stepchild, a daughter-in-law, or son-in-law. Your spouse, a parent, or one of your siblings, your brother, your sister, your brother-in-law or sister-in-law, or your grandparents. So unfortunately, uncles, aunts, cousins are not covered. It's just you're pretty much your immediate family for that. Also, you get leave without pay. So this is an authorized absence for duty by a career or CCA employee in a non-paid status that covers only those hours which an employee would normally work or be paid. LWOP will be granted for many reasons, including inadequate leave to cover vacations, periods, personal injury, illness, union business, assumption of full-time union office, or other personal reasons. So management does like to push the whole I can't approve LWOP. But there is codes in there to approve LWOP. So if you have your documentation and the reasons why you need to have LWOP documented, it's great. Also, a type of leave I didn't cover is FMLA. So Family Medical Leave Act. CCAs are covered in Family Medical Leave Act. The FMLA is groundbreaking social legislation that Congress enacted in 1993 requiring many employers, including the Postal Service, to grant eligible employees time off work without penalty to care for / bond with a new child, to care for a family member or the employee's own serious medical condition, or for certain exigencies arising from the employee's spouse, son, daughter, or parent who is a covered military member on covered active duty. The NALC actively lobbied for its passage and through the years has participated in the federal rulemaking process to protect and improve the FMLA. As recent as 2013, the Department of Labor expanded qualifying exigency FMLA leave for families with military members based on a suggestion from the NALC. CCAs are eligible for FMLA protected leave if they have worked for the Postal Service for at least 12 months. CCA's break-in service does not cancel out accrued time of service for FMLA purposes since the 12 months do not have to be consecutive. The months of service may be accrued at any time during the 7-year period immediately preceding the leave. Accrued at least 1,250 work hours during the 12-month period immediately preceding leave. Only actual hours worked, not time spent on paid leave, are used to determine if an employee has met the 1,250 work hour requirement. Every eligible postal employee, including CCAs, is granted FMLA protection leave as outlined below. And there's a whole list, and it's on page 57 of that thing. I'm not going to go into it because it's like 4 pages. All right, so basically FMLA is a guaranteed protection where management cannot discipline you for the use of it. So certain qualifications for FMLA would be if you have your own serious health injury. So let's say, like for example, for me, I have chronic Achilles tendonitis and plantar fasciitis. So my FMLA grants me to use a certain amount of leave per month, per week. So if I decide to take that I need extra days off because I can't walk, I can use my FMLA leave and not have that used for discipline. Also, if you have a birth of a child, you do get bonding time, whether you're the mom or the dad. So I believe federal employees get up to 12 weeks. You can use LWOP, you can use annual leave, or in my station, they allowed me to break it up. So I was able to cover when my wife was working, I was able to cover her shifts and she was able to cover my shifts. So I never had to actually take my baby to daycare until the baby was almost 8 years old. So that was actually pretty awesome. It also covers if your parent needs help. So that would be a family member, unable to care for herself. You got to take her to her appointments. You got to care for her, whatever. You're also able to use that. It's a great thing to have. I highly recommend if you have an instance like that where you have a family member who's injured or hurt, or you need to take them to doctor's appointments, or you have your own health condition, that you actively seek out your shop steward and you apply for FMLA.
Additionally, you can get FMLA for mental health conditions as well.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if you ever need a mental health day and you are currently seeing a licensed psychologist, a therapist, a psychotherapist, whatever it is that you're seeing, you can get FMLA and have them fill out the paperwork for you and get qualified FMLA leave for mental health days as well.
Yeah, that's something I'm working on currently for my mental health that I've had at other jobs with FMLA, where it was, I basically, they just gave me a doctor's note that said occasionally he'll need a day every month or so, something like that.
All right, so something that I wanted to make sure that we touched on, because I was completely unaware of this until I became a PTF, aka career employee. Whenever you are a career employee, taking LWOP counts against you for retirement. When I was a CCA, it didn't matter. I could take as much LWOP as I wanted because I wasn't a career employee. But once you become a career employee, it matters. Thomas, can you touch on that real quick?
All right, so LWOP does affect your leave after you've incurred 80 hours of LWOP. So you can incur up to 79 hours of LWOP before it actually starts affecting your fronted annual leave. I do believe now that CCAs are getting their annual leave fronted, that LWOP will have an effect on that fronted leave. So basically what happens is the post office will give you a lump sum of leave based on if you worked 40 hours a week for the 52 weeks. So based on your years, I think you get 104, 0 to 5, and then 160 from 5 to 15, and then at 15 you get 204, I believe. So that's the hours you get fronted at the beginning of the year. If you incur 80 hours of annual leave, they will start subtracting annual leave from you. You'll be losing annual leave based on the fact that you're not at work and you're not getting paid. So therefore, you lose some of that benefit. So if you are incurring a lot of LWOP as a CCA, just remember, once you become a career employee, the LWOP will start having an effect on your annual leave. So if you run out of annual leave and you have prime time coming up, there's a strong possibility that they may not allow you to go on your choice vacation. If we're able to, I'd like to cover holidays. So currently, CCAs get paid for 6 holidays. I remember in my first 4 years, we didn't get a single paid holiday, which was the worst. But currently, CCAs get 6 paid holidays: New Year's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. To be eligible for holiday pay, a CCA must be in a pay status the last hour of the employee's scheduled workday prior to or the first hour of the employee's scheduled workday after the holiday. So what management has been doing is, if you decide to call in sick the day before or the day after the holiday, they'll hold your holiday pay. If that does happen, you need to go and get your shop steward, have them file a grievance for you. As long as you have documented proof of why you called in sick or why you were not at work, you should be able to receive that holiday payback. In certain offices, I know that CCAs are getting paid 8 hours. I think it's the 200 work year offices. I unfortunately don't know how to calculate it because my office is not one of those 200 work year offices. So in my station, my CCAs get compensated 6 hours of holiday pay. One benefit of the holiday pay that I'd like to mention is when a CCA has to work on a holiday, I know Amazon for us doesn't run on Independence Day. It doesn't run on Christmas Day either. So those 2 days, we don't run Amazon, but I do have CCAs that run Amazon on the holiday. And when a CCA works on a holiday, they may, at their option, elect to have the annual leave balance credited with up to 8 hours of annual leave instead of receiving the holiday pay. So what that means is basically you're already getting paid for the holiday and you're working the holiday, so you're getting double pay. So the post office has an option here. I thought it was only for regular carriers, and I guess now it's become an option for CCAs, where you can trade your holiday pay, so whether it's 6 hours or 8 hours or whatnot, you can trade that to go to your annual leave balance, and so then you can start stacking up. One of my stewards, he asked me about it. I told him about it. He's in his 3rd year now as a career employee, and he has, I think he has like almost 350 hours of annual leave. And that's from when he was working the holidays, he was exchanging the leave. So there's no deadline to use it. It just stacks up. It just keeps stacking up. But as a CCA, you lose all your hours of annual leave at your break-in service. So I know they either pay you out or you have to use it. As a career employee, you're able to roll over, I think it's 520 still, but I know for a while there it was only 440.
All right, rad. Yeah, no, that rollover is great. I'm excited to have that as a PTO. I think so. Is there anything, Tom, that you wanted to cover that we didn't cover already? And if there's nothing, was there any shout outs you wanted to give?
Oh man, the shout outs. I definitely want to give a shout out to my new steward. His name is Alex Covarrubias, CCA. He's been there for 4 months. We had a union steward decided to step down, and he said, "Hey man, I want to go to training. I want to step up." I said, "All right, brother. We'll go ahead and put you in there." So I want to give a shout out to him for stepping up to it. You know, it's a lot of work, brother. So if you listen to this podcast, dude, I'm sure you're gonna call me after and be like, "Why'd you put my name out there?" But you know, I appreciate you, and I really want to give a shout out to the steward I trained. His name's Derek Sisson, 3-year career employee, been with the post office 4 years. I just want to tell him, you know, I appreciate everything you do. I'm right there with you, brother. You know, I'm up till midnight doing grievances. You know, you may be doing the informal, I'm doing the formal, but we, you know, I'm there with you, and I do appreciate everything you do, whether the branch realizes it or the office realizes it or not. I see what you do, and I appreciate everything.
Hell yes.
I love to hear that you've got a CCA steward stepping up. That's fucking awesome. Like, props. Tell your dude props to him. Like, from us. That's amazing. Mad props.
Well, if you want to put that shout out later, that's cool. But I did want to just say a couple things real quick. One, like, I love what you guys do. Mallory, Cole, Badmouth, Corey. I'm not gonna lie. In 2021, I was really discouraged. I was really down. I was ready to get out and not be part of the union anymore. And started listening to the pod and started hearing it, and got me fired up, man. I hear Corey's passion. You know, I'm getting all emotional over here. He said, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. If you're wearing the blue, man, I love you, my brother. And that stuck with me. You know, I'm a serviceman. You know, I'm in the trenches fighting with them. So thank you for getting me fired up, man. It's got me, you know, re-energized, man. I stood up at the state convention and told them that my branch of 100 people wants to host the state convention. So we got that in 20 days. So that was, it got me motivated, you know, and so I appreciate everything you do. Mallory, Cole, Badmouth, what you guys are doing here, man, it's special. You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciate, what you guys do. Somebody's stepping up and, taking it, to the national level, you know what I'm saying? To where, thousands of people are going to be listening to this, you know what I'm saying? And it's amazing what you guys are doing. And so I just appreciate you guys for standing up and being the face of the movement for us people who don't have the time or, the courage to be the face,
Well, I mean, like you're here with us. Like this is we're all in this, man. Like, yes, thank you.
Well, yeah, for
Thank
sure.
you
But,
for coming on.
absolutely, man. I reached out to you guys. I just wanted to express my, appreciation. And, you guys hit me up and said, hey, you want to come on and do a mailbag episode? And I was like, absolutely, man. Let's do this. Let's get motivated. Let's do this. And so that's that. And for all those CCAs who are discouraged and are upset about, the current situation of the union and what they're seeing, I highly recommend don't get out, man. Stay in, be the change you want to see. Vote in the people you want to vote in. Go to your branch go to your branch meetings. Make a stand. Stand up for yourself. I know Tyler Vassar did it. And just because one person does it somewhere else doesn't mean that you can't stand up and say what you need to say and make the motions you need to make and bring the issues forward. Let the executive council of your branch know, hey, like this is an issue that's bothering us and we need this addressed. Together we are strong, divided we fail. So as long as you guys unite, let's bring the fight.
Hell yeah, brother. That's shit I like to hear, like the reason that I got involved is because I became a steward in my office and there's nothing going on here. And I don't work that much. I'm in a tiny office where I don't get that many hours, and I wanted to contribute more. I wanted to give back. I wanted to help protect letter carriers and do what's right by my brothers and sisters. And that developed into doing the website for Corey and kind of being Corey's personal assistant. And then it delved into doing the CCA corner. And really that's just my mission here, is to just give back and educate and be there for people so that everybody feels like they have a voice and that they can be heard, and that everything that's going on right now is valid and important. And just making sure that what everything we're doing is what's meaningful and what's right and what has purpose. And I get that fulfillment with doing the CCA corner and being involved with roommate arbitration. That's enough for me. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be able to give back, and I'm happy to provide for my brothers and sisters in whatever way I can.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I do want to add, I know that the local implementation for the new locals that are going to be going out is in May and June, or the end of May in actually June. So if you guys see an issue on the workroom floor, CCA specifically, if you see something that you would like changed at your station, now is the time to bring it up. Now is the time to bring it to your meeting and say, hey, I don't like the way that this is written in the local. It negatively affects me. I want this changed, and bring the change, because now's the time to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with it till 2027.
Well, yeah. we ain't here for a long time. It'd be nice if we were here for a good time, but the most important thing is that we're here to be a problem for anyone who gets
That's
in
right.
the way
That's
of
right.
us.
That's fucking right.
Anyone who gets in the way of the rank and file getting what the rank and file deserves and what we have earned. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Stick around and be a problem. Don't get out of the union. Be obnoxious, be annoying, and get things done. And that's what we're here for.
We are the creation of change. We are the vessels of change. Change can only come from within, and that comes from you. And that comes from your brothers and sisters in your case next to you. And that comes from your brothers and sisters you see on that Facebook group, or that Discord server, or that Reddit group, or whatever it is that you're using to connect with people. Change is going to come from us. Just hang on, man. It's coming. A storm's a brewing. A shit storm's a brewing, and we're going to be here for it, I promise. All right.
Absolutely.
I love you guys. Thank you guys for listening to us drivel on. We'll be back soon with another episode of whatever the hell we do next.
But wait! There's more!
Hey guys, it's Badmouth. So we've been talking a lot about how to get more involved in the union, right? And I wanna kind of like let y'all know what that looks like from my end in some of the organizing that myself and some cats from Building and Fighting NALC are doing down here in Texas, right? So on Sunday, the 13th, the next Sunday coming up, I know it's short notice, but if you are within driving distance of Dallas Fort Worth, if you're within driving distance of the DFW, we're going to be meeting around 1 o'clock to establish the DFW branch of Building a Fighting NALC. Hey, we're gonna get together, a little meet and greet for folk that haven't met. We got folk coming from Grand Prairie, we got folk coming from Claiborne, we got folk coming from Waco. Little meet and greet. It's gonna be cute. And we're going to talk about resolutions and constitutional amendments, things that we want to see change in our union. We're going to float. I think I got a list of like 6 or 7 that we're going to talk about, and we're going to focus on the main ones that we think are A, feasible, and B, are the most important, right? And we're going to focus on those, and we're going to kind of get a sense of what's going on, and then we're going to bring those to our branches, right? And we're going to try and get them voted on there, and we're going to try and get them to our state convention here that's coming up for Texas in July, right? So that's coming up on Sunday around 1 o'clock. Wanted to plug that. Another thing I want to plug, and this is something where even if you're in Alaska, or Guam, this one I want to invite you to as well. On the 27th, the southeastern branch of Building and Fighting ALC, we covered kind of the Gulf Coast and Oklahoma and Puerto Rico. We're going to have our branch, our monthly southeastern branch meeting on the 27th. There, we're going to establish the broader Texas chapter, and basically, this is kind of play test, sort of like proof of concept type stuff. So we can get this going and get it working and get all on the same page again to bring resolutions and stuff to the Texas State Convention coming up in July, and also sort of like providing that as a framework for areas that are more spread out. Like Texas is giant. We got so many cats down here in Texas, but it's so spread out. We need a slightly different framework. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'd like to invite y'all to that. So that's the plug. If you need to get a hold of me for this, if you're in the DFW area or you know someone in the DFW area, let me know. Let me know, please, please, please. You're the best. You can do that at buildafightingtexas@gmail.com. Email me there. Also, you can just email me in the through the Firmate arbitration site. You guys are dope. I love you. On behalf of Cole and Mallory and myself, you guys are brilliant. You're dope. You do dope shit. And take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Solidarity forever.